Hi everyone. In this video, I want to discuss the 10 signs you're dealing with a narcissistic abusive parent and how to recognize the subtle manipulation that keeps you trapped in harmful dynamics. Before we dive in, I invite you to join my free training, which is Build the Self You Were Never Allowed to Have, because you can't have self-confidence, self-esteem, or self-love if you were never allowed or taught or programmed to have a self in the first place. I'm Jerry Wise. For over 45 years, I've helped hundreds of thousands of people break free from the grip of dysfunctional family dynamics using the powerful method of self-differentiation within a family system's understanding. My mission is to help you build a strong, confident sense of self, resilient, empowered, and free to live beyond the pull of others' control, manipulation, and dysfunction. Recognizing the signs of abusive parents can be tough. Now, many people say, well, of course we know what signs of abuse are. There are many people who still don't recognize the signs of abuse that they experienced growing up because that behavior was often wrapped in manipulation, wrapped in control, wrapped in malignant normalcy. But once you see that pattern, it becomes clear how damaging their actions can be. Also, the family's emotional Wi-Fi programming and that inner family of origin within you many times won't allow us to see it. And that's why I like to talk about traits and behavior of emotional abuse and narcissistic abuse. First of all, narcissistic parents demand total control. They control your decisions no matter what your age, or they wish to control your decisions. They use guilt, money, or other people to manipulate, keeping you trapped. Family of origins, and particularly narcissistic parents, will set your microcosm view of the world and your macrocosm view of the world. And they wish to control the macro and microcosm of your understanding of how you interact with other people, how other people interact with you. Second of all, narcissistic parents ignore or violate boundaries. If you violate boundaries enough, that is abusive. I'm not saying if I go, whoops, I'm so sorry, I didn't know that was a problem for you. That's not abuse. We're always learning each other and what are appropriate boundaries for each other. However, when they disregard or ignore your boundaries time and time again, then they're disregarding your privacy or your personal limits. They accuse you of being selfish when you try to set boundaries. And that's very abusive when someone says, well, that's not what I would like to do this holiday. Our family would like to do something different. And then they accuse you of being selfish when you try to set those kinds of boundaries. And they're very critical and hypercritical of you doing that because it raises their anxiety far too much, and they want to be in control of the family traditions, the family behavior, the family emotions, the family thinking, and narcissists need that type of control. Detachment, boundaries, respect, they have no tolerance for these. Body, mind, and emotions are to be totally, fully accessible to the narcissistic parent. Number 3, narcissistic parents use guilt and shame to manipulate. Guilt tripping with lines like, after all I've done for you. For example, I just should have aborted you. I figured you never care about me. You're so selfish and immature. When will you grow up? That's abusive. They make you feel defective through shame-based comments like these. No one would ever have had children if they were like you. That is a very damaging and abusive way of talking. I hope that we can begin to accept that that's what they know and it has less impact on us, but we understand how damaging and abusive that is. Fourthly, narcissistic parents lack empathy. Zero empathy ends up being pretty abusive. Your feelings are dismissed or minimized. Focus shifts to how your emotions and your responses are inconvenient for them. You're just too sensitive. I've done everything for you, and all you do is bitch, bitch, bitch. And only when you're trying to bring up something that matters to you that becomes an inconvenience for them, which is abusive. Fifthly, narcissistic parents compete with you. They downplay your successes to boost themselves. I see you're getting a promotion. You know how much help I was in getting you this job. You know I got this job for you. They turn your celebrations into moments about them. I'm sure glad I helped you finance your college, because without my help, you would have been lost. Though actually many times, maybe parents have only involved themselves a small amount in financing college. And I've had people that have overblown of all a whole undergraduate degree and a graduate degree. The parents paid $500 towards their child's degrees, and they feel, and they will tell people like they paid for the entire degree from top to bottom. And again, without my help, you would have been lost. Well, she got her looks from me, as many times they might interject. And there are many other ways that parents will compete. And it's almost like a junior high one-upism, that it feels like that when narcissistic parents feel they need to compete. Sixthly, narcissistic parents use fake love or attention as a weapon. They may only express this affection and praise only when it is to get you to obey, or when some of the praise or the compliments may rub off on them. Affection is withdrawn as punishment. And this produces a terrible brain programming for our brains. It's almost like a sociopathic love, if I can use that word. In other words, I love you when you do what I want. I don't love you when you're not doing what I want. And that's not an empathetic love. That's not a deep love a parent has for a child. Number 7, narcissistic parents demand perfection from you and not from themselves. Mistakes trigger criticism or comparisons to others, or the feeling of no matter how hard you try, it's never enough. Oh, so you only got the assistant manager promotion, not the manager's job. Oh, it wasn't an Ivy League school, but I'm glad you finally got your degree. Congratulations on buying a new house. For that money, I would have found a better neighborhood. Everyone has asked us at church where you guys go to church. I don't want to tell them or to say that you're, staying home. So I just tell them you're still looking. And again, that's a part of the triangulation. The narcissistic parent should be telling church members, well, I think that's something you should ask them. If they don't see them at church, they should reach out to you, not the parents answering for you. But they feel so enmeshed with you, whatever you do reflects on them, whatever they do reflects on you. And that's the way life should be throughout all of adult life. That's problematic. Number 8, narcissistic parents exploit or use you for their benefit. Many times they will expect you to handle their responsibilities or their needs. You plan the party and we'll have it at our house. Again, narcissistic parents want you to do the work. Well, we'll just provide the house so we can be the host or hostess, for the party, but you do all the work. They may treat you as their therapist or assistant. Your dad does this and does that, and I'm so tired of that. Someone talking about another family member for you to understand and listen to them complain. Your sister does this and this and that, and then they complain, why is my life so crappy? Your grandmother's such a pain in the butt, blah, 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 blah. And they use you as this counselor and confidant, and you're the only one they can count on. But yet you won't be able to count on them. They need to be able to count on you. It's usually a one-way street for a narcissistic parent. Number 9, narcissistic parents dismiss or punish your individuality. They mock your values, your hobbies, your interests, your partner choices, your child's names, your child's clothing, how you dress, how you do your hair, how all of those things. Often they will dismiss your own individuality if it's not coming from their advice or their opinion, because they know what's best for how your hair should be done. Independence leads to tantrums or silent treatments from narcissistic parents. Even rage if you're too independent. What do you mean you won't be there on Christmas morning at our house with the grandchildren? What horrible parents would keep their children away from their grandparents on Christmas morning? I don't wish to keep them away from their grandparents. I just don't want to do it on Christmas morning. I'd like to do my own family that morning. But they may become enraged or make physical threats, even injurious threats. Wanting to be autonomous or emotionally detached is like pouring holy oil on the devil. It seems that awful in family dynamics. Number 10, narcissistic parents play the victim. They twist situations to make you feel like the bad guy and how you are always causing these difficulties. Certainly, there's some other additional red flags that narcissistic parents will behave, such as in triangulation and pitting family members against other family members to create drama and to increase the anxiety. They sabotage relationships or undermine your friendships or romantic connections or relationships with other family members. And then they may gaslight you, making you question your reality with denial or distortion. So what can you do? Here's some self-differentiation tips. Educate yourself about the family superself. Understanding how your family dynamics and its effects are still in you and still operating. Education is not just enough. We want to take steps to change the family Wi-Fi working in us. For example, if the family Wi-Fi programmed us that feelings should not be expressed and feelings should not be something you should be aware of, then that's the very thing I want to work on for my own growth and development as a self. I want to identify and express my feelings. And so I would want to work on that to counter the family programming. Building inner boundaries. Build emotional limits to protect your peace. Learn about detachment. Reduce your fantasies about the family and what the family should be doing in loving you, caring about you, and that why isn't my family a normal family? If it's not, it's not. Begin to accept that and take over whatever things are left over from that. If you need more care, support, and help, get that. But don't wait around for that from the family. Step back from troubling relationships emotionally. You may need to step away so that you can do some healing within yourself. Focus on building a strong sense of self apart from the family super self. If you're ready to finally break free from the grip of dysfunctional family dynamics and build a strong, confident sense of self, free from others' control, manipulation, or dysfunction, join my free training today. Start building the life you were always meant to live. Click the link below and get started. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be the first to see new videos I publish weekly. Thank you for joining me today. Have a great day and be wise.